There's one more thing that Apple announced, and it was the final thing that they saved for Wednesday, which is the MacBook Neo. New name.
Cool name.
We've never heard that word from Apple before. We thought it would just be the MacBook. So MacBook Neo is a $599 MacBook. It's a 13-inch display. It's powered by an A18 Pro chip, so not quite Apple Silicon M series chip, but that was the chip that was in the iPhone 16 Pro, and it seems to be right around the level of performance of M1. Probably a little better in single core, a little worse in multi-core. But anyway, A18 Pro inside, 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage, and 4 colors. It's incredibly inexpensive, and so they've done all the things they have to do to get a MacBook, which is still made of metal, all the way down. Like the keyboard's not backlit anymore. It's only 2 ports. Both are USB Type-C. One of them is USB 3. One of them is USB 2.
And they're not labeled.
Which is bad. The back one is USB 3. The front one's USB 2. You probably figure that out sooner or later.
I don't know if people will, bro. I don't think they will.
Or you just don't care.
If you figured it out, you shouldn't be buying this.
I think most people are just using these ports to charge and not using them for
one to charge, one to plug something in, a mouse, a keyboard, some random accessory.
I don't know. Everything is wireless now.
It's true.
I think because this is for people that are doing it's the, like you said, you guys both said this, the Safari book, right? So like people are using online services almost exclusively with this computer. So like why plug anything in except for charging it?
That's totally true.
Yeah.
What else is true? So the keyboard, not backlit, and the trackpad is not a Force Touch trackpad. It's an actual clicking trackpad, and it's a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
You said it felt good, though?
It felt good. Felt totally fine. No issues with that at all. And the last thing I noticed is the keyboards were white, and they had, so the on the side, they had like moved the speakers to the side of the laptop.
Side firing.
Like side firing. I got a couple demos to listen to them. They do not sound good.
Yeah,
that's okay. They're just baseline laptop speakers at this point.
Wait, before you move on, this is something I want to clarify on here because I asked you this question. I was reading in the review before you even got back, or what you were writing, and you say all the keyboards are white, but like on the picture they look
tinted.
They're tinted, but like on Apple.com they look like colorful, very colorful. And then I did see some of your footage. You said the lighting wasn't great, but like it seems like they're closer to white.
Yeah, so they're to be fair, I think Apple.com pumps the color a little bit. I think they look light and tinted. Okay. So on the Indigo laptop, for example, the keyboard looks light blue. Close to white, not quite white.
On the website, looks like dark purple almost.
Yeah, it looks dark purple.
Yeah, it's not quite that tinted.
So it's like LaCroix blue.
A breath of exactly.
Yeah,
just
like
a tiny bit.
A truck passed by with a blue in it.
Somebody whispered blue at the factory.
Yeah.
So slightly matching keyboards and even like matching wallpapers and UI elements by default out of the box. So like that's on the yellow laptop, the menu items are yellow and the keyboard's slightly yellow, and it's like, okay, you got the citrus theme.
I love the citrus one so much.
Are you into citrus? I was thinking about that. They asked me, what's your favorite color? There's citrus. That's the yellow one. There's indigo, which is the blue, dark blue one. Then there's the pink one, which I think is called blush, and then there's silver.
Andrew, what is it with you and piss-colored tech?
Whoa. Yellow. I do like yellow a lot.
It's piss.
Yeah, they got him on the yellow.
It looks good. Also, I just thought, where's Project Red?
Oh, yeah, that would be cool. The red would be sick.
Yeah, red.
I don't know.
Product Red.
Product Red.
Yeah. In all the videos, I know the lighting was kind of
yeah.
The piss one looked like it looked like neon green.
Because the lighting, I think it's so tough. In person, it's giving lemon lime.
It's giving lemon.
Like the Gatorade?
Yeah.
It's like the best Gatorade flavor.
So like a tiny bit of green, but not really.
The other morning.
It's mostly yellow.
Y'all haters.
It's mostly yellow. It's my favorite flavor of Gatorade. I don't want to hear that.
You probably should not say my favorite flavor while he's saying
lemon lime is your favorite Gatorade flavor?
I like orange and yellow, yeah.
It's such a boring pick, but I think I agree with yellow. It's so good. And
Gatorade?
Yeah. And then Glacier Cherry.
What's your favorite flavor of Gatorade?
Like the red one.
That's
okay. You can't call us boring and then go fruit punch. I agree.
Fruit punch is delicious.
That's the default.
It's good.
That's the NPC Gatorade.
No, the blue one.
Yeah, but
which blue one?
Oh God, I hate that one.
Light blue.
No, the problem with the blue one and the yellow one is that they make my saliva glands fire.
They all do that.
The red one doesn't.
So full of sugar. Really?
Well, are you drinking a zero?
I'm talking because they're a little bit sour.
that background.
So where-
Anyway, there's
just
4
saying-
flavors of Gatorade here with
Yeah.
this MacBook Neo.
The silver is the absolute best color because it looks just like the old 12-inch MacBook.
You-
It looks
Yeah, it
very
does.
clean.
Everyone buying the silver is why we don't get fun colors on things anymore.
I know.
Because they're giving us fun colors and y'all are like, oh, I want silver.
That's actually, I want to see this distribution here because there's a silver one. You can get the boring one or a colorful one, and I want to know what the spread ends up being for different colors.
Regular people will buy a color. Schools will buy 1,000 of the silver ones.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Everyone I know that pre-ordered the piss color, but I think it's just because they like
have taste.
Who do you know that pre-ordered a MacBook Neo?
3 people.
It's
Do they know
But they're
that
all-
it's
I
a
don't-
piece of
Well, it's really. I mean,
It's
kinda
Project
is.
Linda. It's
Look,
a phone.
No, think about this. The A18 Pro is about the M4 single thread performance. Multi-thread, it's not, but for single-threaded tasks,
Yeah, we
it's
should-
about the M4.
We should talk about what this computer is going to be capable of, right? Okay, everyone sees it's the smartphone chip. And to be fair, it will be not as good, especially with the 8 gigs of memory. I think that's actually the real bottleneck, but it will not be good for
has swap
video
memory,
editing. It won't be good for gaming. They were bold enough to do a gaming demo for me on this on a 60 hertz display.
Was it
and
an iPhone game though?
It was basically an iPhone game. It didn't look that great. But this is not for that. But if you think about who's going to be buying this, it's a lot of schools, it's a lot of students, it's a lot of young people's first computer who you're getting them a Mac instead of a tablet or something, or like a random HP or a Chromebook.
Yes.
This, for those people, is a web browser, and it's spreadsheets, word processing, texting, basic stuff like that. Email. It's going to kill at all that. It's super good, and most of these things are single core tasks that this chip is going to be totally fine for. When you ask more of it, that's when you're gonna, feel like the edges of performance of like, oh wow, I can't play Fortnite on this laptop, or
You
oh,
could
I
probably
can't
play.
play.
You
I
probably
bet you
could.
could play Fortnite.
Maybe
It's
you can.
optimized great.
I mean, you can play it on a phone. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you can do a lot of stuff at 60 hertz on this laptop. But I think us like looking at it, like thinking, oh no, it's not Thunderbolt. Oh no, it's not like high refresh rate. Like this isn't gonna be for that anyway.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually a perfectly reasonable performance envelope. I think the 8 gigs of memory is going to be like a time thing. Like how long before apps are just using too much memory for this 8 gigs?
I had an 8 gigabyte M1 MacBook Air when it came out.
Yeah.
And it's great up until your storage starts filling up because it uses the swap memory.
Yeah.
And the memory is very fast. So it's like, it's generally fine, but as soon as your storage starts filling up, it starts getting slow.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I go back to the story with my sister, how she bought the Mac Mini, and the next day the double storage model was the same price. So I told her to return it. She was like, "Why would I do that?"
I don't use storage. I just browse the web.
That's exactly what she said. What am I going to do with storage?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
Because regular people, like we have so many things on our desktops and like locally on our computer because it's video files and it's big photos and it's all this stuff. Regular people just do everything on the web browser.
I know, but that web browser is usually Google Chrome, which demands
Well,
64
that's why
gigabytes
this
of
is
RAM.
the Safari
base.
book.
This is why this is the Safari book.
Safari book.
Which you know how I feel about Safari. I'm like the biggest
Love it.
Safari evangelist of all time. But like,
Oh, really?
I don't know, man. Yeah, I love Safari.
I didn't know that.
I'll never use anything else.
Here's an interesting spec about like what might make this a Safari book. The battery size on this laptop is significantly smaller than a MacBook Air. MacBook Air has something like a 55 watt hour battery. This has a 36.5 watt hour battery.
Yeah.
But they are quoting almost the same battery life as a MacBook Air. I guarantee that's mostly like video playback and using Safari, because the second you throw Chrome on this thing, it's going to tank through that half-size battery. So this is specifically like you're using Apple's apps, you're using Safari, you're using iMessage, you're using Apple Music, and that's going to be great.
It's also lower TDE because it's literally the phone processor.
Yeah.
But like an M processor is just a big phone processor.
Yeah.
They're pretty much the same architecture.
I think it also comes with like a 20 watt charger because it's such a small battery. It doesn't
really?
need a big charger, and that's
Wow.
lower power envelope.
Wow.
It is so crazy that you can run Mac OS on an A18.
Yeah, man.
What's
Like-
also crazy is we've been running iPad OS on an M4.
That is also crazy.
You know,
Now an M5, right? No, sorry.
M4
just kidding.
iPad. Yeah.
Like, what else could we be doing? You know?
So
Can I run Linux on a toaster? Like, are we?
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
yes.
I mean,
I'm
Yeah,
just-
actually, I was-
absolutely.
Isn't there
Yeah.
an A19 Pro in the Studio Display XDR?
Yeah,
like they just print these chips.
Yeah, they put the iPhone in that display just for the camera.
This chip is so cheap for them to make. It's unbelievable.
To Ellis's point, though, that was the one takeaway that I had from this MacBook Neo thing was like, oh, so you can run macOS on these phone chips. They just choose not to.
For sure.
So you think I can plug in the iPhone Fold and have a macOS experience? Because it's possible, clearly.
They might do that. I don't know, especially if Google's doing it.
That would be freaking awesome.
I think that's a philosophical thing because what you're saying makes perfect logical sense, and we are the consumer, and so we're thinking logically about this. But if you're Apple, and I've thought a lot about this recently, like the super, super powerful iPad is still not good enough to be your full-time. That's a $2,000 M4 powered iPad.
Yeah.
And it's still not your full-time laptop.
For some people.
It could be.
For a lot of people.
If,
I know
if
a number
I
of
could plug in
people-
an iPad and have macOS, there it is.
I
It
think
just depends on what you do.
There's some evangelists, and there's a small fraction of people who are like iPad sickos that are like, yes, I got rid of my laptop. Yes, this is the thing. And you can do that if you're really dedicated.
Yeah.
But I think for most people, they're specifically designing these products to live alongside each other. Apple's like, please buy a MacBook and an iPad.
buy everything.
Use Sidecar. Use continuity. Use the sync across the devices. They are perfect for each other. Michael, our graphics guy, he uses an iPad, he said, just for the pencil and to draw things and then for Sidecar.
Yeah.
He
yeah,
doesn't
but he
really
also
use
uses a Magic Mouse. So, like,
I mean, if you buy like a used iPad Air for pretty cheap, having an external display that you can just have at any time is pretty awesome too.
Yeah, for your Mac.
For your Mac.
So they're like, please buy both.
Yeah.
And so for as powerful as they're willing to make the iPad Pro, they are not willing to make it powerful enough philosophically to be your full-time computer. But
that's-
they want you to use it alongside
It's
a
an
Mac.
artificial limitation.
It is 100%.
Yeah.
That's what Apple specializes in.
I know.
That's their specialty.
But they also let you plug it into the display, and they talk about how with the new displays.
I loved that.
Yeah, they talk about how with the new displays, like you can plug the the new iPad Pro into the 120 hertz display, and it'll like run at 120 hertz, and you can do all the things. And I think if they're letting you plug the iPad into that display with the Thunderbolt cable and like run iPad OS on the display, they will probably let you do that with the Fold. That's my guess.
Have you ever noticed the
No shot.
demos, though, that they run? Whenever they do that, I pay very close attention to the demos that Apple constructs to demo their products, right? And whenever they do the like iPad plugged into the studio display, they immediately open Procreate and they just start like doing the artist thing.
Yeah.
They never do file management.
No.
They never do multitasking. They're doing like the very simple, like, oh, here's the big display so you can view your work thing. That's on purpose. I think if they wanted you to do all that like computer stuff, they'd be selling you a computer.
I will say really quick with the new display, the really good one, the XDR one, they have the camera in it now. So
True.
they could just
That is
get
nice.
you guys should just get rid of continuity camera because there's many times when I get on a video call and my feed is just black and I don't understand why, and then I realize it automatically connected to my phone. And it's just in my pocket, and I'm like, oh, this is
That's
annoying.
true, but please don't. Actually, because
You don't have to get rid of it. I'm just saying it's
like when I'm in the audio room and I need to take a call. There's no webcam in that room, right? And I am so peripheraled up in that setup. Like I really don't want to add another one.
Yeah.
But I recently added my iPad as a third monitor with Sidecar.
you can use that camera.
No, but I just close the Sidecar window and take the call on the iPad.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
It
That
is
makes
cool.
sense. Yeah.
So I guess you could get rid of it.
Marquez, I want to know, because you actually played with these laptops. People were talking about the thickness.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Sure. So
Down with the thickness.
I think a lot of people will be totally fine with it. So technically, it is a little bit smaller than the iPad, than the MacBook Air. It is a 13-inch display instead of 13.6, right? But it is basically the exact same weight, and it is actually slightly thicker because of the lack of wedge shape. And that's not to hold more battery. It's not even like a bigger battery. It's just like this is a not engineered for maximum thinness Air. So it feels like an Air to me when I'm holding it.
It does.
I didn't worry about like extra weight or thickness. It's, I think, technically on paper, a 1/10 of an inch thicker than the MacBook Air.
Yeah.
So like, not a big deal.
Yeah.
Is it? I'm assuming it's not wedge shaped because now the speakers are down here, right? Which,
Yeah, it's
if
not
you
wedge
wedged
shaped.
all the way down to there, you can't have the speakers in
Right.
the bottom corner. And also, the headphone jack there looks really strange.
Yeah, it is weird.
It is really
Really
weird.
low.
Yeah.
It makes more sense, to be honest.
I was trying to figure out
it's
why
still
it
weird
makes
to
more
see.
sense.
Because it's just closer to you, and
closer
when
to
you
you.
have actual headphones you're plugging in, the further, I mean, it's like
3 inches closer.
8 inches. It would probably be the difference, but
Yeah.
I will say the refurbished 13-inch MacBook Air right now on Apple's website is $750.
This is how I think I need to review this computer.
Yeah.
Is if you are thinking about buying a MacBook Neo and you want to be a little bit like you want to like look into it a little bit, there's actually two other things you could do for $600. Is you could get an M1 MacBook Air,
M1.
right?
That'd be really cheap.
That would be a potentially just as good computer for you, but it's an M chip. You get more software support from buying a Neo today because you're starting today at day 0 and have years of software. But maybe you think an M1 Air will have a better display, more multi-threaded, whatever. That's a choice you could make. Mm-hmm. And the other is you could still buy like a $500, $600 Windows computer or a Chromebook for that price. And I think we all have this reaction because we're like, well, why would you do that if you could get Mac OS? But I think that's the comparison that I need to put these things all online and see like what's the advantage. What's the best Windows laptop I can get for $599? For students, $499. That's going to be tough, but I want to actually figure that out.
I think it's like if you are watching or listening to this podcast right now, that might be something you look into. Most people buying this, those people might find your regular channel review going to buy it. They just to me, the MacBook Neo it's a laptop. All of us don't have laptops anymore. We have full-blown workstations that happen to be in a laptop now because we got to that point. Maybe workstation is not the right word, but these are insanely powerful for this. Yeah. But when you think about what we just used to do with laptops, we would never sat at a desk with them and plugged it into something. We would sit on the couch or a chair or a coffee shop and that's what the Neo is. It's just a laptop.
That's a world I've never known.
What?
My first laptop was like a plug into a workstation desk and do it. And I remember being like, yo, why are laptops not as powerful as computers until the M series came out. And it's just like, why would we go back?
Claire has a laptop. She's never sat at a desk with it. She uses it on the couch or maybe at the dining room table or and she uses it at work. Sometimes I guess that's at a desk, but those are laptop things to just do laptop things. Or
we need to do a studio video that's like a competition between a MacBook Air, a Neo, a Windows PC, and an iPad. Because I'm so curious where the edge cases that one of those cannot do.
I think this is that point though where if you're watching a video of a competition between a Neo and something else, you're out of the Neo range already.
No, but even for genuinely, what can you not do on an iPad that you can do on a Neo? You can get a keyboard. You can Bluetooth any keyboard to an iPad.
I know, but it's
so that might be one thing to add to my discussion because the base iPads, $329, the keyboard and trackpad they make for it are $250. Yeah. So that's $600 right there.
Sure.
It's $350
so you could
for the
get
big one.
You could get that. And you can do file management and multi-window and most
then
stuff.
It's modular at that point too.
And you have a touch screen if you want it.
Yeah.
And you could pop it off. Yeah, that's one more option.
You can't put it on your lap.
And I would also
that's true. That's very true.
I would also argue that the market for the Neo is more likely to use cloud storage.
Yes.
Just
local
almost
storage.
all
file
web-based.
management doesn't matter really on the iPad. I don't know, man. I think
I just like integrated laptops more than 2-in-1 touchscreens with detachable keyboards.
I also think we're overthinking this.
Yep.
I think if a parent walks into Best Buy and sees 3 laptops and an iPad that are all $600, they're buying the Neo because they're familiar with Apple. It
This
looks
thing
like
is going to sell.
Yeah. Also, education discount is $100 off, so it's $500 with the education discount.
Can I ask a question if any of you guys might know? I asked this to Marquez and I wasn't when I always think of getting an educational discount, it's usually with a .edu email address, which is college. But very clearly, this is great for high school and
it might work
that.
if you have a high school ID. I'm not sure.
I guess a high school ID, but it's harder to prove you are a student. And if you don't have to, then I'm just going to walk into an Apple store with a kid and be like, "Look at this student over here."
It's been a long time since I was in that world, but I believe Apple partners with a company called Unidays to do educational status verification. For the past, ever since I was in college, even my freshman year of college, to get any Apple EDU discounts, you needed to first go through the Unidays verification
and
process.
that's high school students?
No, that's why I'm saying I don't know how you would do it as a high school student because you need
to
you need to give them a bunch of documents your transcripts and your EDU
I guess
email and but also I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of high schoolers are getting EDU emails now.
Yeah.
Possibly. I feel like also a lot
that's
of
a good
middle schools,
point.
high schools are the ones supplying the computers for the classrooms, at least in the U.S. from what I've seen.
Yeah,
But I'm
I
sure
think-
there's plenty of
How do
different
schools
cases.
work in 2026? I don't really know how.
I think you just
and
plug
then
in and
your
then-
OpenClaw teacher tells you some lies about George Washington, and then you go home and like play Fortnite and
is
drink caffeine all night, right?
I remember in like 8th grade when we got a smart board and the thing just never worked, so they just used the whiteboard instead, and we were like, "Damn, look at this
you guys had a
technology!"
smartboard in 8th grade?
That
It was
happen.
called a smart
It never
board.
worked though.
It never worked.
It never worked.
We just watched movies on the CRT, baby. That's all we did.
The smartboard
On the
wound
cart.
up just being the projector white screen essentially, and they never used the fake markers on it.
70-pound TV.
The
on the
overhead
cart.
projector,
Wait,
not a
am I
projector.
old? This might be. I might be at the end of people who had these transparencies. This was like maybe the end of high school.
We
I
had
had transparencies in middle school.
Okay, yeah.
Wait,
so
what was it?
that like the projector with the transparent
The
thing. that they
overhead
put up-
projector. That's what I just said. Yeah.
The overhead projector.
Overhead?
It's
No,
called
no
the-
overhead. It's on a cart.
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
a but it's for some reason it's called the
called it.
overhead projector because I think the mirror or whatever
Oh,
that's
yeah,
above
yeah.
it is over
So you
top
could
of
write
it
on
and
it.
it leads into it. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing.
That was always funny when they erased and it just wiped stuff all over the place.
That is an evolution of slide film, by the way, which was used specifically for slides like that, so they could draw on it.
Anyway, stay tuned for the Neo review.
Yeah.
I do think this is I do think this is potentially one of the most
that to a
disruptive
Starbucks.
products of the last couple of years. I think a lot of Chromebook sellers and Windows laptop OEMs who have been feasting in that price segment are very worried about that one.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Can I throw one other like pro of this out here, which is the pro to all Apple products in the US at least is like
It's not a Pro, it's a Neo.
I was going to make the joke, and then I thought it was.
no, it's just like when we're looking at cheaper products that are specifically not for tech people, the biggest pro of me suggesting this is when it breaks on you, I can tell you to go to an Apple store and get it fixed, and I don't have to diagnose everything over the phone. Like,
Damn, that's
it's
a good
so much easier to
yeah.
just be
No.
like, hey, you can get the help here.
I was thinking that because I've bought my mom computers before. Like I bought her like a Chromebook before. I thinking, oh, it's Chrome. It's just Chrome. She can't mess it up. I was wrong. Like there are just infinite ways. And you know, she could just go to a store, and I don't have to be her son. Then I guess that you know, it's great. Anyway, I want to make one more thing. The closest like analogy to this is the Surface Go. Do you guys remember that computer?
Oh, they tried a Snapdragon one?
It was not Snapdragon.
what did they
It was
try to-
Intel Pentium Gold 4415Y.
this thing.
Bless you.
Yeah, thanks. And if you remember, Dave 2D just shat all over this computer because it was so bad. And it started at $400 just for the tablet, and then you still had to buy the keyboard and the pen, which were more expensive. I believe altogether it was probably about the same price as this Neo device, and it sucked. It really did. It was 7 years. It's 7 years old now, obviously, and they made a better one that made it better, but it was still expensive and bad. So I'm just saying, look, all the tech PC channels, it's Linus Tech Tips. Linus is slowly like has been making videos being like, oh no, Mac is better value than Windows in like almost every way now. Like there is it's very hard unless you're a gamer at this point to recommend yourself a Windows computer. Also,
Everyone's mad at Windows, so that helps.
yeah, because Microsoft is a legacy corporation that doesn't. Anyway, I'm gonna get so yelled at, but I'm just saying.
That's okay.
I'm just saying.
I forget the Surface Go. If you look at it from the side, just looks like a bad math problem. There's so many angles going on. The keyboard is like slightly flipped
yeah,
up, and then it's got
flexed a
the
lot.
stand and like
What's the
everything about
hypotenuse?
this. I don't know.
Again, it was set. It's 7 years old. I get that, but there just hasn't really been anything except for like a Chromebook that is this price and can do this many things. And a lot of people, especially in the United States, own iPhones and the integration and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty serious computer from Apple. I'm very interested to get it in and have us like test it and play with it and see what it ends up being like. But being M4 single thread performance when that's what everyone wants most of the time, single thread performance is like, you know,
It's just yellow too. It's sick.
it's piss, Andrew.
So
The
good.
silver is the best.
I want the yellow keyboard so bad.
I'm happy for you.
Hey, thanks for watching that clip. If you agreed with what we said in whatever we were talking about, leave us a thumbs up. If you disagreed with whatever we said, hit that subscribe button down there. It's down there somewhere. Thanks. I like that.
We can't see your dislikes.